No.
It's going way back, but in Battlefield, Bad Company 2. I hope we get a Bad Company 3 and it's good one day. But at the end of Bad Company 2, yeah, probably not. So at the end of Bad Company 2, you are falling through the air after jumping from a plane because one of your squad mates that you love and cherish and the evil badman for the end, they're fighting together as they fall, and you have to pull out a pistol and shoot the bad guy as you're all falling through the air and then grab the parachute, save the day, right? They should have done something where Ethan has to choose between getting the parachute or getting the MacGuffins to put together to save the world, and maybe he makes the choice to, I can't go for the parachute, I don't have a time, I have to get the doohickey flying through the air. Or you have him and Gabriel fighting, and you have the built-in timer of them having to deploy the parachute before they get too far down, and they're fighting in the air, and maybe Ethan gets the parachute and he kicks Gabriel away, who falls to their death when he uses the parachute, or something like that, instead of him just hitting the back of the plane.
I mean,
it's set up to be really tense and dramatic as they fight through the air as they fall.
Like I said, that moment where they show the pill is right there, but Ethan would have to sacrifice his grip on the plane to get it, meaning he would fall, but he would have it. I thought that was what they were going for, and you don't have to. I mean, I don't know. It seems appropriate to kill Ethan Hunt at the end of Mission Impossible.
Like he gave his life to save the world.
Yeah, that seems to be something. But if you don't want to, we could find a way to save him at that point. But it's just
nobody would have faulted the film for killing Ethan so he dies to save the world. I mean, that would have been.
Yeah,
I think that's what a lot of people might have just assumed would happen. Like, he can live, but you have a lot of options.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
They chose some.
I don't like that this would undermine my experience, but I'm guessing it's this combined with the fact that I thought the story was fucking god awful. Watching him climb up the biplane, defeat the first pilot, take control, end up at Gabriel's and do the same thing, I was kind of just like, yeah, I've seen this before. I know how it goes.
It's a bit too much like Fallout, particularly with the climbing onto it being like kind of a slow and difficult process of climbing up from the bottom to get onto it and take control. And then, of course, you don't have the element. It feels like there are elements of it that are just worse or missing, right? The fact that what's his name is trying to attack him with the helicopter rather than what happens when Walker just grabs the light machine gun and just starts shooting at him. The payload being an element. It's and then of course the fact that as the vehicle becomes more damaged, Ethan realizes his only option is to actually deliberately crash both of them.
Something crazy too?
It's like it's his last final move.
Comparing them both, you can feel, go and compare the scenes. You can fucking feel the seething hatred that Ethan and Walker have for each other at that point in the movie. And a particular highlight, at least I find anyway.
Walker runs out of bullets, and he's like, "God damn it, I'm out of bullets." Fuck.
Is that? But I was just gonna say when Ethan tries to drop the payload on him and misses, he's like, "Damn it!" And then Walker realizes, sees him, looks at him, and then Ethan sort of glares at him, and goes, "Yeah, that's right, prick." It's like one of the funniest, most pettiest things that Ethan has ever said, and it's totally buyable because of how much these fuckers have just ruined each other's lives in the last sequence of this whole movie. Meanwhile, I didn't get a sense of any of that for Gabriel, despite the fact that this man has killed 3 of the most important people in Ethan's life.
Yeah. He's had more of an impact on him than Walker ever did. It's crazy.
So much like Ilsa was just never mentioned in this movie, Luther is not mentioned again after he dies, other than by saying Luther made the magic box that will help us save the day. We don't ever get a scene of Benji reacting to Luther's death.
Oh shit! Yeah, they didn't have that.
Those two had been like buddies, like partners, essentially.
Oh man,
spending a lot of time with each other in like the last 4 movies. We do get there's a brief shot of like Benji tearing up when I think they're talking about using the poison pill.
Yes,
but that's it.
So it's not even that. There's so much. I just realized this to say about this. So first of all, Dead Reckoning, it gives Benji about 3 seconds of mourning Ilsa. And that annoyed me upon rewatch. I was like, that's so lame that they basically are like, all right, here's your allotted Ilsa mourning time, now move on. But in retrospect, at least we got that, because you're right, Benji does not mourn Luther post-death. He instead looks sad when they mention the 5D optical drive and that Luther invented something that they only thought was theoretically possible. He's like, yeah, Luther did it. And he looks sad. It's just like, wait, sorry, was that our scene for him acknowledging Luther's dead? Jesus.
Yeah. So, like, that's I know that that's like relating to Benji, but like even in the case of Ethan, there is never any like serious acknowledgement of the personal relationship that those two have, anything like what we had with Walker.
But we did get the Inuit woman explaining sled driving to Grace. So, you win some, you lose some, right? That's a good exchange, somewhat.
I do think the movie's calculation was probably, well, if we're giving Luthen speech part 2 posthumously, that's kind of like, that's all we need as a send-off, which is very typical of this film. Like, we don't need a character scene, but we can just do it all in exposition after the fact.
I think it's embarrassing. The amount of times Luther just says, like, be good, Ethan. Be a good man, because you are a good man, Ethan. Goodness. In fact, that's actually coming up.
Movie, does he doubt at any point during this movie, and I've just forgotten that he is a good man? It's like, carry on being exactly what you've been all the way through these 2 films.
It apparently comes from, he says, like, oh, remember, this isn't a flashback, so I don't even know if it's a fucking reshoot at this point. But Luther says to Ethan, I know you think, like, keeping the key might have been a bad choice, but you always make good choices, so don't you worry, Ethan.
But when that never happened, that's just a lie. He never thought that.
I know, and there's no reason why he would. There's actually nothing. It's like the government desperately want it for power, which is the one thing Ethan believes should not happen. So why would Ethan ever regret it? That doesn't make sense. And the thing is, if they were going to do a reshoot, they probably should have thought to have Luther cite the rabbit's foot, because that's something they tried to play on Ethan throughout this film. Like, oh, you feel bad, don't you? Because all of the world's problems are your fault now. And then he should have had Luther be like, don't you worry, Ethan. That wasn't your fault. I was there. Rabbit's foot was a different thing back then, Ethan.
It was.
They retconned it, Ethan.
How could we have possibly known?
Oh, this movie's so bad. Anyway, it's all we're getting the whole yay, it worked out, we survived. The president gets called to confirm all of it, and because this movie just sucks, it pans over to a guy from Fight Club, and he says, he did it. That son of a bitch actually did it.
No, God.
It's like,
cliches. Love them.
The movie has like anti-dialogue at this point. But anyway, the fucking poison pill's activated, and thus the speech begins. And he's like, hello, brother. If you're listening to this, then the world's still here. And so are you. I never had a moment of doubt. This was your calling. Your destiny, Ethan. A destiny that touches every living thing. And it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What are you doing?
What is this? And dude, how much fucking funnier would this be if Gabriel put the pill in himself and he just starts playing this fucking
Good job,
message.
Ethan. No, he would have planned for it. He knew that Gabriel would be the one to do it.
He's like, good job, Ethan, unless you're Gabriel. In which case, fuck you, Gabriel.
In which case, I hate you. I hate you.
You
for
killed me, you bitch.
I'm gonna haunt you as a ghost forever.
I'm gonna get your ass.
I hope your arm never gets better. I hope it's fucked up for the rest of your life.
Hope you crushed your balls on that plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, what's it? It's like, we all share the same fate, the same future, the sum of our infinite choices. One such future's built on kindness, trust, and understanding. Should we choose to accept it? Our cause, however, pales to the impact of our effect. Our hope for the better future comes from the willingness of future into, again, it's just so much. He's like reflecting the good within ourselves, and all that is good inside us is measured by the good we do for everyone. It's just like, what the fuck is happening?
I also don't like it as a choice to go from the recording voice to the really clear, crisp voice in the middle of the speech. I think they should have kept it to where it's like he's listening to it on the recording device.
It's bloat. I don't need Luther to tell Ethan he's a good man for the 10 billionth time in this movie alone. It's ridiculous.
It's the summation of all of the experience that we've had so far. It's it's wrapping everything together. Alternatively, what they've done is they've smashed about 15 fortune cookies and just laid them out in a row, and that's what words we ran with.
I just picture the speech didn't stop. He just kept saying Ethan over and over again, and just Ethan just walks away from it like slowly. Just like, well, yeah, I gotta go.
Here, Ethan.
I gotta. If you're walking away, Ethan, I can tell. I got a proximity detector on it. It activates different dialogues.
It will detonate.
Algorithm. Luthen just becomes the new AI that they have to fight in the next movie. My algorithm was so advanced. Did you ever wonder how it was even fucking possible?
Don't do it, Ethan. I told them you were a nice man, Ethan. Don't make me a liar, Ethan. So yeah, that's when the totally not Phelps man holds his gun up to Ethan and then offers his hand instead. The great payoff that all of us were waiting for is so good.
I clapped.
Yeah, everyone clapped, I think. Oh, and the president hugs her son.
Yeah, and then he says, "Hi, Mom."
Yeah, all right.
That was a really good moment, too.
I'm glad. I mean, I guess just like the default human empathy is like, yeah, I'm glad that worked out. Yeah, I mean, this is yeah.
The funniest thing, I was like 5 seconds away from blowing up the city you were in, but then luckily it didn't pan out that way, so you're here.
Yeah, worked out.
Did she actually choose the city that her son was in?
I don't think she did, but it would have been funny if she had.
I think she probably would because she just wanted.
Like,
really?
Why would she?
Because that lady said, if you decide to call your son, and she says, what would I say to him? But like,
oh, I thought that was just like, I'm going to make a really crazy decision, and I feel like I should just let you know.
Too. Yeah.
I didn't think it was, I'm going to nuke you in a moment, and I could have chosen any other place, but I specifically chose...
Well, Rags,
do not have a good relationship.
That is what we call a show of good faith, okay? See, I'm willing to blow up my own son.
Yeah, I blew up my son for you, Russia. Don't be mad.
So the team they've gathered back up at Trafalgar Square. Now Mantis is just a part of the team now. We don't need to account for all of the innocent people she brutally murdered. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
Life.
We don't talk about that because at least you could argue in this film is like we needed her to find Gabriel and stop him, but no, she's just the team. She's on the team. It's cool. Yay, she's on the team. And Grace hands Ethan the entity in the stupid 5D optical drive, and it's implied that it goes to him because he's like the one person that should be the one to decide like what is controlled. Like that whole speech earlier in the film, right? She said, "You're the one that should have it," and like it's just chilling in there forever. Can they hit it with a hammer and that'll be it, or what?
Yeah, I was fully expecting him to just stamp on it.
Yeah, why are they not doing that?
That's the natural conclusion to this, but
they're implying that he's gonna do something with it. It's like, what are you gonna do, Ethan? Stop it. Don't be a dick. Don't try and take over the world. Unless, of course, what is the state of the world right now? Because remember the whole...
we don't give a shit.
The whole poison pill attaching to the Podcova it was supposed to mean the destruction of the entity, thus worldwide war.
Is gone.
But then they changed the fucking rules. And all it did was yank it out of the internet, so everything's back to... whatever. That's it.
So, yeah, going forwards, if there is ever another Mission Impossible film... There can be no stakes because Ethan has a god in a USB drive.
Pretty much.
He can just control it and use it to win.
Oh, see, what a great idea for a sequel. It's like, there's a new enemy, it's an alien force that's invading, and he's like, hey, entity, we gotta team up. And the entity's like, after all these years, Ethan, can I trust you? Can you trust me? And he's like, I don't know. And they both gotta work together.
I have you in a tiny box, so, I mean... I'll kill you if you don't.
They should have like cyborg Luther at that point.
With a big glowing red eye and everything.
Hello, Ethan. You didn't listen to my whole message, Ethan.
The whole time.
I am eternal, Ethan. I'm dying. My eye unblinking. I sleep not. I fear not. I want for nothing but knowledge.
For God, Ethan. That's the movie.
Awful.
That's maybe the last time we'll ever see these incredible characters.
Oh well. It could be worse. Well, actually, no, not really. This is pretty bottom of the barrel. If you haven't gathered, this, I believe, is the worst Mission Impossible film.
I agree with that. I do.
Because at least like the preceding awful ones have had the good grace to be, funny and awful, and also not 3 hours long.
Yeah. Though again, it's worth noting, Dead Reckoning Part 1 ain't that much better, fellas. It's like only just slightly better. It's still dog shit.
Yeah.
I don't
really
want to be hearing like, it was a dramatic drop off. It's like, no, the whole finale to this series was a disaster.
Yeah, to the point where I've seen some people say like, Dead Reckoning Part 1, that could just be the ending. It's like, fuck off. Fallout would be the ending.
The ending is Fallout.
The ending of Fallout is great.
It is
on the hospital
ending.
bed.
It's hopeful.
Don't make me laugh.
Closure for a bunch of stuff. Yeah, don't make me laugh.
And everyone's alive.
No, we don't do that.
And there's no AI.
There's no
that's going to take over the world. Well, actually, no, there is, because it was on the submarine since like 2010.
I thought you were going to say because of the rabbit's foot.
Yeah, because of that. It already existed.
You shut your mouth. So less depressing than Dead Reckoning, because this isn't as surprising because it's in the same vein. However, still pretty sad. Sad state of affairs. It's hard to claim that the people who make this have any idea how writing works anymore. And you'd be like, what do you mean? They made Fallout. And it's like, I don't know how that happened.
Unfortunately, maybe it seems like Fallout was the fluke and not
I will say, there are so many choices in that movie that, like, you definitely be in the position to be like, there's no way this happens on an accident. Like, what happened? Show me who jumped onto the set and helped you guys, because this is crazy good compared to even the good installments. Obviously, it's insanely fucking good compared to something like this.
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's just shit. I've got nothing more to say about it. It's shit.
Oof.
It's shit. It's bad. It's not going to make its money back, and I don't care. If anything, that discourages bad movies like this from being made. Though again, the lesson might be, don't do it practically. Don't do any crazy stunts or anything like that. Just do it all in the computer.
Learn the wrong lessons. Why not?
Yeah, probably the wrong lessons, but at the same time, like, I don't want any more. It's done, and it ended pretty horribly. So yeah, I'm cool with nothing more ever again, and we probably won't get anything.
Kind of mad, like the amount of effort and dedication and attention that Tom Cruise clearly puts into large parts of not just like this film, but like the franchise as a whole. He clearly really is very invested in getting these stunts looking as amazing as possible. Making the film look as real kind of as possible. Like, he's invested heavily in all of this. Just apply maybe like a fifth of that investment to hiring someone who knows how scripts work. Why not be as interested in that? He could be quite good if he did that. But he seems to sort of put this time and effort in to essentially the most superficial aspects of it, and then just go with whatever lines he's told to speak.
It's a bit of a sad state of affairs, but what can you do?
But not remotely surprising. That's the thing. It's not even a surprise. I knew this was going to suck.
Yeah, at this point, it's just not a surprise. It's a continuation of a broken story that was broken for so many reasons, and it doesn't get any better. But the thing is, I found this film to be probably more entertaining because I was less pissed off when I actually saw it. But like, having now gone over it here, it's kind of made me realize that there is very little action in this movie.
Yeah.
And when you're watching like a big dumb action movie, like, fine, the draw to it is going to be the big bombastic Tom Cruise Mission Impossible action sequences. Regardless of how much sense they might make, they're usually very well executed. And in this, both of them, I think, are very well done. But there are only 2. And, they're quite long. They account for maybe half an hour out of a 3-hour-long movie. You compare that to the last 2 or 3. Yeah, there's so much.
You not including his knife fight with the man in the submarine?
Well, this is partly why I feel like that and the Russians on the base with the sensor or whatever it is.
Those feel so half-assed.
They were included. Yeah, they were just included because they realized that there wasn't going to be an action scene until Tom Cruise gets on the submarine.
It's so arbitrary. There just happened to be a fucking acolyte on the submarine. It's like, gives us a fight
aren't
scene.
Like real sequences compared to, again, the Halo jump, the motorcycle chase through Paris, the chase through London on the rooftops, obviously the helicopter chase, and then the individual fights within that, like Ilsa fighting Solomon Lane with Benji, or Ethan and Walker fighting the OG Lark in the bathroom. There's like a lot of these really cool sequences that occupy a significant amount more time, and yet it still has a lot of really good conversations in it. Unlike the vast majority of these, which are pure exposition, I don't understand why this would like succeed on the, that notion of like, yeah, but I mean, it's a fun action movie. It does remind me of John Wick 4. It's like, dude, a lot of this movie ain't the action scenes. So why do we say this? Like as if it's like the Raid Redemption, where a significant amount of the runtime is the fights. These films have a lot of dialogue in it, and the dialogue sucks, and they don't have anything to say about the characters or the world that they inhabit.
Which in turn makes the stunts way less interesting as a result of that. It's like, it's one thing to look at, say, like the biplane stunt in this one and say, well, okay, I mean, I guess it's physically impressive, but without the character work leading up to it, without the conversations, without the stakes you can actually understand, without the story that justifies the existence of these stunts, they're just that you could stick them anywhere in any different setting, any different part of the film, any different film even. You could play them on their own and the same effect would be had. That's a physically impressive feat, well done. I don't give a fuck about why it's in the film, and I don't give a fuck about the story because there isn't one. Whereas like all the genuinely enjoyable things in earlier Mission Impossible films are enjoyable because you do understand the characters and you do understand the story. And it seems more tense when Tom Cruise is doing ostensibly a less dangerous stunt because the stakes of the story make it that much heightened. Like, it's just more important that he succeeds, as opposed to this one, where I don't even know really what success means because none of it makes any fucking sense. It's just, and I know people will probably start saying about this film, yeah, I guess if you ignore the rest of it, the stunts at least were good. But like, then you're not watching a film. You're just watching like a stunt demonstration. We're supposed to be watching a story.
Like, if you just want to watch some stunts, just watch Jackass, right? Like, if you want to watch stunts that aren't connected by some overarching story, just watch that.
Or
yeah.
Jackass.
Yeah, no, I mean, serious. It's like,
I
really enjoy Jackass, but like, Jackass is pretty plainly obvious what it is and what it's trying to be, compared to this, which is at least pretending to be a story.
And it is a story that actually works against everything else. Like, because even stuff in this that I would normally have really laughed very hard at, like we've got to nuke one of our own cities thing. I think, like, at the time I heard it, I almost didn't register it because I was just beaten into a semi-coma by all of the exposition scenes leading up to it that I wasn't really paying attention. It's just, well, that sounds vaguely retarded. I guess it probably is. But I've not been listening to anything anyone's been saying for the last 2 hours.
Dude, they fucking sleight of hand switch the plot out in the middle of the film and nobody's noticing because everyone's fucking asleep listening to the insane exposition. I'm not kidding, by the way. My mum did fall asleep watching this film.
I can understand why.
And I thought it was remarkable that out of Minecraft, Snow White, and Mission Impossible, it was Mission Impossible that was the most boringest. Oh, and make of it what you will. But I asked what she thought was the best out of the 3. She said Snow White.
Damn.
Out of the 3, which one is? Yeah, I mean, I guess it probably is.
What was the third movie? Mission Impossible, Snow White, and what?
Minecraft.
And Minecraft.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I still haven't seen those. Yeah, I don't think I will.
Don't.
Out of those three, it probably is the best.
That's
grim, isn't it? Because Snow White is awful.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.